Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Thank you, KK. The breakdown continues, Ryan, on Listen Up, September 24th, Waking Up with Phil and Ryan. Well, if you're waking up right now, Ryan, you probably have a problem. No, I'm just kidding. It's heading on 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Thank you, as always, for joining us, each and every one of you, alongside Ryan Renner, Phil Becerra. Look, Ryan, next up on the list, the spotlight on Listen Up goes on Morgan Cheli. An article caught my eye, and I will watch highlights as you give your take on this very special young lady. They're all special, right? Going to UConn. Three underdogs who committed to Gino Auriemma's UConn in 2024, featuring Morgan Cheli. Now, I'll tell you why that caught my eye, because the subtitle goes, the majority of UConn Huskies 24-25 season will revolve around Auriemma and Becker's quest for the NCAA title. And that was thanks to Sports Keto. So I'll tell you why that caught my eye, because Ryan, which one of these, I feel like in a perfect world, maybe all of them will break out, but we can't really expect that, right? In a perfect world, so far, the underclassmen or the freshmen coming in that are about to come in that we have win over, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the last one, another player we have yet to see in a UConn jersey ever, right? My question, Ryan, is this the one, the underdog, that will break out?
Yeah, I think it's a good possibility. Of course, Morgan Cheli rated the lowest in the ESPN rankings out of the three recruits we've gotten this season. Of course, Sarah Strong, number one. I believe Ali Zabel finished around number seven, I believe. I think Morgan Cheli around the 17 mark. So, but all obviously in the top 20. All three of these recruits very high on the list in UConn fashion, of course. But Morgan Shelley, 6'2" guard, all the way across the coast from California, marks the last true freshman player we'll go over on the roster. We still have one redshirt freshman to talk about, Yana El Alfie, of course, being injured last season. So she's still technically a freshman. But Chelly, just like Ali Zabel, committed to UConn about a year and a half ago. So she's been waiting very patiently for her time to become a UConn Husky. And I think Morgan could turn out to be another great addition in many ways, but especially because of her size for a guard, as UConn only has one guard, Caroline Ducharme, that is 6'2". And I really like how all three of these recruits provide something different to the team. Sarah Strong provides a new post threat for UConn, Ali Zabel being a very lethal scorer, and of course Morgan Cheli can be kind of the rebounding guard that UConn needs. Gino said that Morgan doesn't have to score to impact the game, and with all the scoring threats that UConn already has, if Chelly can just be that spark on the off the bench that provides rebounding and defense, I think Gino is going to be pretty satisfied with that. But Chelly can also help everyone around her succeed, as she did with her high school team. And I think as the chemistry builds throughout the season, and hopefully along with her minutes, I think we can expect to see Morgan dishing out assists, having one of the highest steals per game ratios on the team, and having solid rebounding numbers to go along with that as well. But of course, I think it all depends on how much we get to see her play, the opportunities, how many minutes that Gino decides to play her. Of course, we're expecting Strong to see a healthy amount of minutes right off the gate. But of course, for Chelly and Zabel, their impact on the team, I think, relies more on how many minutes they're going to receive throughout the season. But hopefully, like you said, all three of these recruits can come in and really give UConn a big spark throughout the whole entire season.
Yeah, all right, very well said. Thank you, Ryan. And I'm looking at Hoopers for Days. This is where these Morgan Shelley highlights come in from 2022. It looks like 2 years ago. What stands out to me is her ability to get to the basket very quickly, and the way she lays the ball up. Now, spinning. I know you like athletes in the NFL that spin a lot, whether it be running backs, quarterbacks. And Ryan texts me a lot, right? Especially when it's quarterbacks, Ryan. And you said he just broke his ankles, right? And that's what she looks like on some of these highlights because she's coming down the paint, right? Coming down the floor. Her ability to get in the paint very quickly and then shimmy, shake, and score. That's what's standing out to me. Now, she can shoot from long range too, but I think her ability to shoot mid range shots is what she specializes in the best. But again, I'm talking like I know it all. We've never been to a UConn practice. We don't know how REM coaches. It all changes very quickly, right? And I like to believe that because of the way UConn is, and that's for good reason. You might be great in one thing, in one specific, say, 3-point shooting in high school. Sometimes they're going to take that ability away from you, and for good reason because you're going up against so much talent up there at UConn, right? So I think Ryan, that again, don't take too much away from these highlights of what I'm going over with you on all these episodes leading up to that #1 video, that episode on the breakdown roster series. But I mean, look, it's a good sign. And then again, her ability to block shots. I'm seeing that as well on the opposing teams that she's been facing in high school, I guess this is. So it says Boo Williams, 22 highlights, right? So, yeah, with that said, again, I think that you're with me on this. I don't really expect a lot, to be honest with you. From now, Sarah Strong, you're talking about Sarah Strong. With aside from her, I'm not saying anybody else is not capable, but aside from Sarah Strong, I don't know if Zabel and Chelly will show me and everybody else a whole lot. I think their ability will start to and time wise will go way up sophomore, junior, and senior, only because thanks to KK Arnold and Ashlyn Shade, and it goes on and on. You know what I'm saying, Ryan?
Yeah, I think their situation's pretty similar to KK and Ashlyn, and that, like I just said, I think depending on how many minutes they get with all the injuries last season, obviously we know the story about KK and Ashlyn providing a big boost to us. So I think, if that would happen again, I think Morgan Cheli and Ali Zabel are very capable of coming into that starting lineup and providing a big boost to us this season as well. But more than likely they'll be coming off the bench for most of the season. And I think with Morgan Cheli, I think the added bonus is all of the scoring that she can do for us, driving to the basket, and it's still having that outside shot available. But I think most likely we'll see her, crashing the boards for the rebounds, playing good defense. I think that's going to be her most impactful moments probably on the team for this season. But like I said, hopefully we can see all three of these recruits get a lot of playing time and really have a special freshman season like we saw the freshmen do for us last year.
Hey, look, let's go into comments. Paul C shouted out to us. Paul C 8752. Thank you so much, Paul, for coming on Listen Up and being a part of this great community, UConn Huskies women's basketball. I'm actually looking at your picture now, Paul, and I love it. Ryan and I support all athletes, student athletes, little league, baseball, whatever it is. We support them all. And I love the picture. I just wanted to shout out to you, Paul. I guess this is excuse me, because it's so small, your son or your daughter. Looks like maybe little league action there. So I love your icon picture, your thumbnail picture on YouTube, profile picture, that is. Let's go over to what he said, Ryan. Chelly and Zabel, this lines up perfect with this video, by the way. Chelly and Zabel will have an impact. I'm on record as saying Chelly, spotlight on Chelly, Ryan, today, will be the season's surprise and play 25 to 30 minutes per game. But Zabel will play 15 to 20 and more efficiently.
It's definitely a good possibility. It's one of those things we talk about every year where it's pretty much impossible to predict. And I think sometimes, the first game or the first week of the season, I'm most excited about sometimes seeing how many minutes the players get and really how it develops throughout the season, how Gino is going to play everybody, because there's always so much talent on the team, and unfortunately, not everybody can get the same exact minutes. and are given the same exact opportunities. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see not only the starting lineup, of course, but everybody else on the bench trying to get them all playing time. And with these new three recruits coming in, we know they're obviously capable of playing a lot of minutes for us. So it's going to be interesting.
I'm not trying to make it a challenge on you, but you're right. This is going to get interesting. Billy Bob Cooter, Ryan, said, do you think Amari DeBerry will challenge for starting spot finally? And then he goes, Morgan Chelly, exact size as Strong. She must have not expected her to sign. She will be gone to Portal after one season. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, obviously we hope at UConn, all these players can stay for us, develop under Gino and all that good stuff, and eventually start for us and have a great career for all 4 years. But, with Amari DeBerry going to Maryland, I think that was, to be expected during the off season. But yeah, I hopefully, like I said, I think some of the players obviously go to UConn, expect to play because there's some of the highest recruits coming out of high school, and there's already so many girls on this team with a lot of talent, of course, already on the roster. So like I said, Gino has a pretty difficult job of trying to play all these players, keep everybody happy. But I think all the players, once you're put into the game, whether it's off the bench or in the starting lineup, you need to, of course, make the most of your opportunity when you get out there and do have the opportunity to play.
How about this one? Mark Hathaway said any pickup games among UConn players will be great this year. I'd love to see some. And then Lorrainer199 says, love hearing from you guys. Go Huskies. Yeah, we love hearing from you too. Let's save Jason D'Amico, the legendary Jason D'Amico. Let's bring him on, Ryan, before the season starts. I'm counting on you. Ryan, Jason, counting on you both. We'd love to hear from you, Jason, on the screen, that is, and not just a comment on YouTube. But we appreciate you coming through. Jason said Shade helped this team get within one game of the dance. As far as I'm concerned, it is her position to win or lose. Same goes for KK. Now, Ryan, side note, Jason, and I have to shout out to him because I don't really think people remember much about us, but he must have remembered you're huge on Dallas and I'm huge on Baltimore. So shout out to Jason. Side note, the one time I root for the Ravens, they decide to blow a huge lead against Dallas. And the only thing I hate more than Nazis are the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, they pulled it out, but not before giving me a heart attack. Peace.
Yeah, well, hopefully, for the UConn season, we don't have a lot of heart attacks and losing all these players and throughout the season blowing big leads of our own. So hopefully, we can stay comfortably in the Big East and have a couple blowout games. And of course, when we go on the road or some of the opponents come to Gamble or Stores, we can get some wins against some pretty high ranked opponents. So yeah, but last Sunday was a tough day for me, of course. But yeah, hopefully for the UConn season, we don't have to suffer a lot of big lead losses during the season.
All right. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you to every single one of you. Ryan, subs are at 2.34. They did listen to you, so I know you have another message for them. 2.34 right now.
Yeah, of course we got up to that another 10 subscriber mark up to 2.34. So let's get the next goal to 2.35, and like I said, we're pushing towards 2.5 before the year ends. So like, comment, subscribe as always, and thank you everybody for the support.
All right. The last full week of September right now, the roster breakdown continues right here on Listen Up.